Good afternoon. Oh my God, I know tea break is delayed or denied, and that could be the reason. I can understand it. But good afternoon once again. That corner has totally ignored me, but I'll not take it to my heart. Let me address one very, many renowned people here, but I would especially like to acknowledge the presence of Padma Bhushan, Madam Shyama Chonaji here, who is my mentor. And we also have a Padma Shri, Mr. Karthikeyan, a very distinguished police officer, but now he has taken to, the harmony, the good governance, and of course the kind of things that we want to achieve through education. My very dear friend and I would say companion, Dr. Emmanuel Joseph is here, Pramodji is here, a lot of good friends here. So it is just talking to a family. But before me, many speakers have come and you have all listened to them with great attention. And I find a common thread running in them. One of them by the name of Manit, who has just left, I believe, he showed us the astonishing possibilities that AI has for us. And while listening to him, sometimes I was getting excited and sometimes I was also getting scared. But the other hand, we had a very deep philosophical moorings of the basic purpose of education that we have was very beautifully narrated to us by Mr. Jairam. And I think General Ray, what he did was that perhaps very, very in a erudite manner, he took the middle path. And I see all these three not as three different directions, but I see them as three pillars on which the whole educational journey has to move forward. And my learning from their presentations is that only technology or only the deep philosophical moorings will not take this country forward. I think probably a very intelligent convergence of these two things, coupled with the effort of the educators like us, probably to see things in a different way. And that is why I thought that let us give a direction to it, some kind of output to it, that when we are embracing technology and when we are also very conscious of the fact that humanizing and the human values will remain paramount, then actually what is going to happen to our education. And that is what my reflection is about. And I'm sure you will also give me the same kind of attention that you have given so far, despite being so close to tea and lunch. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, just go back to 1947, we were just 361 million people in this country. And our literacy rate at that time was 18%. Today, we are 1.4 billion, and our literacy rate is 77%. That is just one statistics. Very meaningfully, I'm showing to you. And what is behind this? Behind these numbers lies only one driver, one engine, and that is education. And every gain in health, GDP, life expectancies, productivity is the fruit of that education that all of you are imparting in your respective schools. So congratulations there. But let us see what comes here. So the scene in 2047, just 22 years from now, and I have a linkage between 1947 and 2047, and our projected population is close to 1.7 billion then. And children in schools today, there are about 250 million. We will have 300 plus, 350 million children. Today, our GDP per capita for us, at the time of independence, it was just around $600 per annum. And $600 at that time was just 18,000 rupees because dollar to rupee ratio was 1 to 3. Today, dollar to rupee ratio is 1 to 85. So we have to achieve this GDP of 30 trillion. Today we are 4 trillion. 30 trillion is almost US. and little close to that is China. We are 4 trillion, still we are at the fourth place in the economy in the world. And per capita, we have to go to 18 to 20,000. Today, we are almost 3,000. So these are the comparisons, and that is what we ought to achieve in the next 22 to 25 years. And the literacy rate, which you saw, we have almost reached there. But then, what is the meaning of that literacy? It is not only the quantitative or the raw numbers. I think this literacy rate has to transform to what we call quality. And all of you know what quality means, but probably we'll have an opportunity to discuss here. And therefore, what are the things which are challenging to us? What are the things will take us to that? Only 4 things I'm giving here because I think they are of great importance. One is, of course, the learning gaps. Despite our best efforts, every year the ASR report comes. Every year the other reports are coming. The National Achievement Survey reports by the NCERT, and they are putting these figures year after year that only 1 in 4 class 5 students can read a class 2 text fluently. It is not a story of your schools, but it is a story of 1.5 million schools in this country. 15 lakh schools that we have are not actually representative of what we are here. And the second, of course, the leadership preparation, all of your leaders, and then your educational leadership, the quality of that, the extent of that, the intensity of that will determine the shape of our schools. And the teacher support, what kind of support we are giving to them, their dedication, how we are enabling them, what kind of training we are giving to them, what kind of capacity building we are giving to them. That will determine that. And of course, the fourth thing which will take us to AI and robotics and what we call the intelligent technologies will depend on digital divide. And this country is heavily infested with digital inequality, as we are heavily infested with what we call economic inequality or the gender inequality. The digital inequality is the new chip on the board. And if we are not able to equalize it, or if you are not able to invest in low cost technology or the alternatives to that, where even the low bands can work in a remote area, or something new that can come up, probably our goal will not be achieved. And this, I think this graph is not seen, so I will show you this. I want to make a thesis here, and for that, I thought that this is very important for me to show you. You see some statistics here, OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. This is a group of 38 countries, perhaps the most rich in the world. They spend around 5% of their GDP on education. And as a result of that, 40% of their post-secondary students are going to tertiary and higher education. And I'll tell you what does it mean. And their per capita GDP is 55,000. We are aiming at 20,000 in the next 10, 15 years. We are still at 3,000. So imagine how much the journey is yet to be covered. You go to Norway, 6.6%, 48% students in tertiary education, and their average is even above OECD. So the story of South Korea, Israel, Luxembourg, and some of the other countries. What is the moral of this statistics? The moral of this statistic is one of the most highly developed countries are also one of the most highly developed education systems in the world. And therefore, there is a saying that the route to development is through the classrooms of a country. And that is why if we have to develop and we have to see statistics anywhere close to this, I think the conduit to that is the schools. And the drivers of that conduit are the educators such as you present here. So if I make this thesis here, that the key to development and key to what we want to achieve by 2047, a developed nation, or somebody calls it Samriddha nation, or a Vikasit Bharat, I think that has to go through these classrooms. And therefore, to do that, the country has already given to us 5 years ago a vision, which is the national aspiration of 1.4 billion people, that this is the kind of education we should have. All of you are connoisseurs, all of you are experts in what it is. But then NEP, Mr. Joseph, very briefly alluded to it. It is based on 5 basic pillars. First of them is access, second is equity, third is quality education, fourth is affordability, and of course the fifth is accountability. So we are the accountable people. We are the people responsible for giving those quality education in a very, very accessible, affordable, and equitable manner. So if the education and the highest quality of education is available to all the children, not equally, but equitably, in the sense that we are able to give to them what they deserve and what is their utmost need, then it becomes equitable education. And how do they access, irrespective of what is their background, irrespective of what is their parentage, irrespective of their prosperity, irrespective of their cognition or the language or any other differentiation or diversity they may have. So that is the first thing. And of course, we are now talking about, the morning session was devoting a lot of time that we have to do the critical thinking, the competency based, the collaboration, the creativity. And so how will it come? It will come only through the classrooms. It will come only through the transformations that we are prepared to make in ourselves and in our teaching learning process. And therefore, inclusion, on one hand, is the principle with which we have to work, but the diversity has to be the ethics, and we have to follow it, we have to embrace it, we have to respect it. And to meet these needs of inclusion and diversity, we have to have a strategy, and that strategy is equity or differentiation, we call it. And to do this, teachers and principals and all the people who are involved with education and the development of this country, they have to recalibrate as to what should be our right curriculum, what should be our pedagogy, what should be our reformed assessment, so that we are able to achieve it. Now, the idea is that if we are able to do it at the school level, we will be able to send more and more children into vocations and skilling in the tertiary education, in the higher education. You just saw the most developed countries have almost 50% of their children going to tertiary education. In India, this number is today 26%. NEP has envisaged that by 2035, we will double up this number to 50-51%. And that is the phase when a country becomes rich in research and development, in vocationalization, in creating more jobs, in bringing in more investment, and that unleashes the whole process of development. And that is why I want that all of us see our redefined or rejuvenated role as educators, where we are able to create a lot of impact this. And therefore, schools are the bridges between our vision and our goal, connecting ancient wisdom with future possibilities. And therefore, this 4 or 5 pillars are very important, and that will address all the apprehensions, raised by the people as far as AI and robotics is concerned, and also some of the appeals and exhortations that Mr. Jairam made in the morning. The first pillar is, can we go back to our roots and heritage? Can we respect our diversity? Can we decolonize our minds and we start seeing the pride and the richness of our own culture? Is it possible that we recenter the focus of our education, which is hinging around more on character building than on anything else? And is it possible that our innovation is rooted in our values, and our values are amplified by the innovation, and then only we'll be able to compete globally, and we will be able to achieve our goal of Vikasit Bharat. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, by 2047, today's grade 6 child will be 35 years old. shaping India's destiny. What we teach today, how we lead them today, and how we reform our schools in the next decade or two will decide whether India's century truly arrives by 2047 or not. Choice is ours. Thank you very much.